Alabama running back Jahmyr Gibbs is the perfect player for the current NFL. He's the air back, the guy you like to get out of the backfield and catch the passes, the guy who has the explosive ability to rip off those long runs. At Alabama, you pop on the tape and boy, he's making plays in the passing game, yet he still has the ability to run the ball inside the tackles. With guys who can catch the football, there's always that question, can he handle the load inside? I think Jahmyr Gibbs will handle it and handle it well on the next level. Of all the backs in this class, he might be the guy you want, the Christian McCaffrey type player, but I think the best comparison for him is ALVIN KAMARA of the New Orleans Saints. He can catch the ball, he will be able to run the ball inside the tackles. In fact, he might end up being a better inside the tackles runner than KAMARA, who they don't use that much in that role. I love Gibbs. He might end up being the best back in this class.
Iowa linebacker Jack Campbell has a massive frame and he tested off the charts athletically at the NFL Combine. He ran the 40-yard dash in 4.65 seconds and had equally impressive agility and explosive numbers, but that isn't visible on his film. Campbell needs to do a better job of getting off blocks and traveling in coverage. He does a good job of breaking his feet down in space and playing with balance, which was evident by his 8.6% missed tackle rate in 2022. Campbell plays with maximum effort. He translates to being a steady, long-term starter in the NFL, and we have compared him to Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson.
Sam LAPORTA, tight end out of Iowa, is one of the most underrated tight ends coming out in this year's draft in a very heavy draft class. He does need to get stronger, but he plays with excellent energy and excellent effort when you watch him on the field. He'll need some technique work as a run blocker, but it's not due to lack of effort, and NFL coaches will be able to clean it up. Where he's really surprising is in a passing game. He's a very good athlete. He can separate on his underneath routes. He extends to catch the ball away from his body, and is extremely athletic to get it upfield after the catch. My comparison to him is Hayden Hurst.
Brian Branch, the ultimate plug-and-play defensive back. Notice I said DB because he's shown the ability to play everywhere in the secondary. He's played nickel, both safeties. He can do damage in the post or do damage around the box. I love his football IQ. His ability to dissect plays before they're going has been a big-time contributor to his success, and just recognizing things before they happen, not to mention playing bigger than his measurables. He's a guy that can set the edge and run support. He's a guy that can flow to the football, and he's a guy that can utilize proper angles in coverage against bigger pass catchers. A notable player comp for Mr. Branch, no other than CJ Gardner-Johnson. Because of the versatility, we saw what CJ did for Philly, playing everywhere in the secondary. Mr. Brian Branch can do the same thing.
Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker had a phenomenal final 2 years at Tennessee and is well regarded in a lot of draft circles. The problem is he's coming off of a torn ACL suffered back in November of this past season. But he's a great deep ball thrower down the field. He's a better athlete than a lot of people give him credit. And he's one of those guys that I think might surprise you at the next level if and when given the opportunity. My comp for him is Seattle Seahawks quarterback GENO Smith. And you saw some of that upside this past season with him winning comeback player of the year. Both quarterbacks played in systems that help them put up a bunch of stats that also lead to questions as far as what that looks like at the next level. Bottom line is, Hendon Hooker is very mature, he's got a high football IQ, and he played a lot of football dating back to his time at Virginia Tech and Tennessee. If asked to, he can probably step in right away. I think the biggest question is, how high is that ceiling? Can he match what we saw from him at Tennessee?
Antoine Green was a great deep ball wide receiver at North Carolina. 6'2", 200 pounds, great hands, and he was a great complement to Josh Downs, who was working in the middle of the slot. And I think that's where an NFL team is going to be looking at Green and trying to fit them into their wide receiver room. He's got a track background with sprinting, long jump, triple jump, and that explosiveness is what allows him to be able to overtake coverages, get downfield, get behind the defense. He's not particularly shifty. He's not going to be somebody who makes a defender miss in short spaces, but he is a great complement to a pass attack when you're looking for that great vertical threat. And with that vertical threat and the great hands, that's why we have him comped to Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Rashod Bateman. Antoine Green, a great piece to complement your wide receiver room.
Notre Dame safety Brandon Joseph is one of the better safety prospects in this year's draft class. When you put on the tape, one thing sticks out to you, his versatility. He can play back in the deep middle of the field. He can play down in the box or on the line of scrimmage as a blitzer. And he can also match up well in man-to-man coverage versus running backs and tight ends. His combine performance wasn't one of his best, but that being said, his measurables still remind me a lot of ASHTYN Davis at safety coming out of Cal, a very versatile player and a player who can come in right away and make an impact on special teams and also help out on defense. So keep an eye out there for Brandon Joseph making an impact as a rookie.
Minnesota's Mohamed Ibrahim is a running back with good size and production throughout his collegiate career. In 3 of his 6 seasons, he has eclipsed the 1,000-yard rushing mark. He has a discouraging injury history and has accumulated nearly 867 carries over the course of his career. Against Ohio State in 2021, he single-handedly kept the Gophers in that football game. Ibrahim is a physical back that does not shy away from contact. He displays good vision and allows his blocks to materialize. He is quicker than fast but offers little in the pass game, which is going to limit his ability to contribute on 3rd down. He has starting qualities but is more likely to serve as a role player early in his career. We have compared him to Ravens running back Devontae Freeman.
Connor Galvin, offensive lineman out of Baylor, reminds me a lot of Jerron Christian. Galvin was a solid starter, playing in 35 games, all at left tackle the last 3 seasons. And while he measured 6'6" at the Shrine Bowl, he only weighed 293 pounds. More importantly, he had 32-inch arms, which means his NFL future will almost certainly be inside. And his lateral agility and movement skills, which pop on tape, will be an asset at guard where things happen much quicker. He's also a consistent combo blocker who regularly finds his second-level targets. In addition to the shortish arms, Galvin also isn't a mauler in that he won't blow defensive linemen off the line of scrimmage. That's not the end of the world, it just means he'll need to continue to refine his technique, and perhaps more importantly, he'll have to get stronger. That said, Galvin flashed enough on tape to find his way into an NFL game day roster.